So we've watched the play version of The Rainmaker, and then we watched the movie of The Rainmaker. And now the creative team made the musical. They changed the name to 110 in the Shade. I'm guessing because it's hot. It's 110 maybe. And even in the shade, it's that hot. So there's like no relief from the heat or any of that. So now we're going to take a look at the musical version. Unfortunately, I cannot find a full-length recording of the musical. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the soundtracks of the musical, and there's two versions of them. One in 1963, and the other was done in 2007. I'm actually kind of excited. I like musicals. I like listening to songs.
Yes, it's gonna be another hot day today.
I do need to preface this by saying that I have listened to the soundtrack before, so this is not like a first time listening reaction to the 110 The Shade soundtrack. I do remember why the soundtrack is not, I don't come back to the soundtrack. Because for example, in this first song, it's very slow, and not like the song's too long or something like that. Like this song is 4 minutes long, which isn't that long compared to other musical theater songs. But it's how the instruments are, the rhythm. It's a very slow song. It is kind of nice to listen to early in the morning. Like right now, it's 6:45 in the morning. And literally this song reminds me of getting up and it being a hot morning and you're dragging yourself to get ready for the day and the sun's rising, you know, so. And I think that the instrumental part is doing its purpose, and how the actors are singing the song is doing its purpose. It's slow, it's like waking up. It's a bright new morning and it's hot. I mean, when it's hot, are you fast or are you slow? Like, I'm pretty sure when it's really hot, everybody's dragging their feet around. And so the song does its purpose, and it really helps set the whole mood for the entire musical. But unfortunately, this is probably a personal preference, a personal opinion. But unfortunately in musicals, if the song starts out this way where it's like this slow and tempo and rhythm and the singing is very much operatic in this kind of way, I get bored very, very fast. I could not go to this type of musical. Picking up tempo already.
When Lizzie is here. Lizzie is coming home. Lizzie is on the way. Lizzie's arriving today. Hallelujah! Got to get busy.
Okay, so you know how I said in the first song, it's pretty slow in tempo and rhythm and the singing, it's all just really slow and you're kind of like, okay, I feel like we're dragging here. Let's move on. Well, already in the second song of this musical, it's like, it picks up dramatically. And the tempo is so much fun. I really like this kind of, you know, you can just bob your head a little bit. It's fun. And with this song, it is memorable. I really like the chorus part of this song. And Lizzie is coming home. Lizzie is on the way. Lizzie is arriving today. Like, I don't know what this means, but I like this rhythm, and it is really catchy. I think out of the majority of these songs in this musical, Lizzie's Coming Home sticks more. It's catchy, it's more memorable than compared to a lot of these other songs. However, in this recording, Broadway Cast Recording, this is kind of a theme throughout all the other songs, but sometimes I think it's the audio mixing that's really isn't balanced right. Some singers sing way louder than other singers. And that's not at the fault of the actors at all. I think it's just a sound mixing issue, it sounds like. So, for example, at the end of Lizzie Coming Home, that very last note is just everywhere. There's one guy that's singing way louder than the other two, and it kind of like jars you a little bit. Lizzie Coming Home is introducing us to our three supporting characters, the family members of Lizzie. And it's a very, very fun song. I like it.
I can't offer you lots of fancy things to make you come and stay. So love, discover me.
So this is the very first song, our first solo song. And we get to have a little glimpse into Lizzie's internal thoughts about romance. We get to know that she's looking for love, and this is something that she really, really wants. And she talks about all the things that she could do for love. And it's a just really pretty number. The tempo and the rhythm and everything is slower again, but it's completely fine with this song because it's kind of a romantic song. Even if it's not a duet song, it's a solo song. Like, it's still very romantic. It's a wishful song from our main character. And I think she has like 3 other solo songs. She has a lot of songs in this musical. Obviously, she's the main character, but it's a lot for a main character. Love Don't Turn Away, Raunchy, Old Maid, Simple Little Things. Is It Really Me? So no, actually 5 main big songs for Lizzie. That's a lot.
Well, come on out and play a little poker, play a little blackjack. Oh, I don't go to many picnics. I don't do much fancy dancing.
So another faster tempo song. And again, with the boys, and now with File. And again, it's just a fun little number. It's very short. It's only 2 minutes long. We have the boys trying to convince File to come home, to have supper with them, and see Lizzie. It is interesting that it's really cheerful and happy because in the actual scene, I mean, they literally have a fist fight. So I like it. I like the little rhythm that they have going on. And the ending is really fun. Like, I like it.
Nice to have a day off. Plan tomorrow. All for the free.
And now, dear Lord,
This song would definitely be canceled in today's society if this song was popular at all. So in the play and the movie version, we don't really have like an assembly. It's usually comprised of main characters and supporting characters. There's not even really any minor characters. We don't really get to see the town that Lizzie and her family lives in. This is the second song that has townspeople in it, and we get to kind of see what the town is like and their points of views and what they're doing and all that stuff. And there's actually a picnic going on. In the play and the movie version, Lizzie doesn't do like a whole picnic or joins in any activities and stuff. So we actually get to see Lizzie making something and interacting with the other women in town, the other men in town, and that kind of thing. And she gets to have her little reprise of Love Don't Turn Away in the midst of this song called Hungry Men. And it's literally just about the girls making food, getting things ready for the picnic for the men, while the men get to relax and have a day off from all their hard work and stuff. I don't know about you all, but I'm pretty sure being a farmer, a cowboy, a sheriff, any of those kinds of jobs are very, very demanding, especially in the hot summer heat. It is a slower song, so it's kind of the same rhythm as the very first song. So you just really get the vibe that everybody just hates the heat. Everybody's tired and slow and wants to have a day off and all that jazz. Again, the audio mixing is really weird. And this happens throughout the rest of the soundtrack. Sometimes, like, especially if it's a big chorus number, you'll have like half of the group singing in this ear and the other half of the group singing in this ear. The sound mixing is really weird, and there's some beautiful harmonies in this musical, but you don't really hear it that well in the 1963 version. So yeah, sound mixing throughout this entire soundtrack is not that good. And probably because it was made in the 1960s, so I'm guessing they were just working with the technology that they had. But it is pretty distracting at times.
my method's like my name, it's all my very own. It's gonna rain all through the night. I'm talking about a good Old Testament wade in the water and shouting glory. Rain, gonna rain, gonna rain, 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 rain.
That's an interesting way to end the song. So this is our introduction song to Bill Starbuck, and he comes in way sooner than the play version did. And also, I think this is better, where he's actually talking to the town and not just to one family. I always thought it was weird that he specifically went after one family in both the play version and the movie version, whereas here it's like he's not picking out one family to manipulate, like he's doing it to the entire town. It just makes more sense in my head for a con man that wants to sell the idea of bringing rain, that he talks to the entire town that's dealing with the issue of no rain. Also, the mood of this song is so different from all the previous songs so far. Like in the play version, where I remember I talked about how everybody talked really slow, everybody had like a certain, I don't know how to describe it, but a certain tempo in their speaking. And then when Bill Starbuck literally barges into the stage, into the room, he talked so fast, like he had a very different vibe compared to all the other characters in the play. And so I think it's fitting for the musical, where so far majority of the songs have been pretty similar. We have this new character come in, kind of changing all that up. It's a much faster song. It's a little, I'm not a composer, so I can't really explain how the instruments work and how the tempo works and how it makes you feel a certain way. But how I feel is the song is very conniving. It's very cunning. It's how the song's tempo and rhythm is. It sounds very greedy to me. What is the genre of 110 in the Shade musical? The musical 110 in the Shade is considered a classic Broadway musical. The show's music is character-driven, with each character's song reflecting their personality. For example, Bill Starbuck sings in a variety of popular styles, including jazz, blues, and Latin. The opening number, It's Gonna Be Another Hot Day, has a slow tempo and long phrases to represent the heat and haze of the day. Okay, so I guess the music would be considered more jazzy, blue, and Latin. Okay. So yeah, his song just kind of changes up the whole dynamic of the entire soundtrack. Also, I noticed the song's lyrics are very similar to the actual dialogue in the Rainmaker script, or at least references to the original script. Sodium chloride, pitch it up high, right up to the clouds, electrify the cold front, neutralize the warm front, magnetize occlusions in the sky. In other words, bunk. Lady, you're right. Do you know why it sounds like bunk? Because it is bunk. Rain is rain, brother. It comes from the sky, a wetness known as water. Mammals drink from it, fish swim in it, little boys wade in it, birds flap their wings and sing a song like sunrise. Water, I recommend it. So throughout the entire song, it's referencing a lot of the original script, but in song form. And it also includes the townspeople and how they just desperately want rain. The song also reminds me a lot of The Music Man, where it has that whole number, 76 trombones, a much more catchier song. This song is not very catchy in my opinion. It doesn't really hit me. The 76 trombones really hits me. It's very, very memorable. But it has the same concept where a con man is trying to convince a crowd of people to do things their way. It's the same kind of concept, just in a different style of songs, and one more catchier than the other.
Lizzie, stop fiddling with your buttons. Fiddle with your buttons, Lizzie.
You think that you're something to see. May fool the locals
You
with
may
such
fool your brothers and...
So we have our first duet between Starbuck and Lizzie, and it's basically them arguing. One accusing the other of something, and the other accusing the other of something. Like, it's not going anywhere. But Lizzie is basically telling Starbuck that she doesn't believe him and that he isn't fooling her. And I think this is more impactful, where the entire town believes in Starbuck and Lizzie's the only one that doesn't. And I think that works better. I think it's more impactful that the whole town believes in Starbuck and Lizzie doesn't, because it makes Lizzie stand out more. And I think that motivates Starbuck to single her out over the entire town. It's just more impactful that way. It makes more sense. And again, I hate that I keep comparing it, but The Music Man is kind of the same way, where almost the entire town believes in the main character, but then you got one girl that doesn't, and so the man singles her out and tries to go after her because she's the one that doesn't believe him. And again, with the sound mixing, the song doesn't sound good to me. Not like the singing's bad or the instruments are bad or anything like that. It's just the mixing is, well, like especially when the two singers start overlapping their lines at the end of the song, my ears, it doesn't sound pretty.
I'll pour peroxide on my head. I'll knock those. I'll be so raunchy. I'll be tapping up and down the street of the county seat. Tippy-tapping feet up.
So this is our second solo song from Lizzie, and it's basically her, you know, wanting to strut her stuff, wanting to be like the other girls, what she could do if she was like the other girls. What does raunchy mean? Earthy, vulgar, and often sexually explicit. Great. Awesome. So she's basically singing about being raunchy in the most cleanest way possible. I don't really care for this song at all. It's just kind of strange. And I think how the singer sings this song, I don't know. And there was a whole section where she sounded like Minnie Mouse. I know this song, she's trying to like manipulate her voice to sound girly, I guess, in a way, sound more womanly. I don't even know. Singing choices are questionable to me, but it could just be because I don't live in the 1960s, and maybe that was attractive back then, or it was funny back then. It's kind of cringy. We're gonna move on.
A man and a woman can be so close together that they almost become like one. It may be true, I just don't know.
I feel so sure it could be so.
This song would also be canceled. So we have our first, I think this is the only duet between Lizzie and File, actually. Yeah, I don't remember them having another duet after this, which is crazy because they're the ones that technically get together, but they only have one romance song. And this is about their conversation about what love is like and romance is like and what does that mean between a man and a woman. And it is pretty interesting in the perspective of like, File is somebody who has been married and is divorced, while Lizzie has never even dated, I think. She's never actually dated. She's never actually like been married. So you have two different people who've had very different experiences when it comes to romance. But even despite those differences, they're at least coming together in this song, talking about how beautiful love can be if you open your heart up to it.
Always being one, never being two. Old maid, my dress is too tight. My skin is alive all over. It's too good. Don't let me live my life.
So we have our third solo song with Lizzie, and this is not, I don't really care for this song. And it's not because of the singing or the lyrics or anything like that. It's because of how the notes are. It's like, sometimes, especially when she's singing old maid, like the note is so freaking high and it's so just jarring. And I don't know, maybe it is how she's singing it, but it's just my ears. This song's lyrics are directly from the original script. Always being one, never being two. Rearrange the furniture, there's nothing else to do. Keep an empty house, watch your brothers wed. Dream an empty dream at night upon an empty bed. So these lyrics are similar to the sentences that Lizzie has in the monologue in her play. My dress is too tight, my skin is alive all over. It's turning to night and yet not a sign of breeze. I'm all tied up, my clothes seem to be on fire. They're tying me up and burning me to the bone. I was thinking that the lyrics seem a bit odd throughout the song, but now it makes more sense that it seems like it's a direct taking from the original script. Because sometimes I'm like, that doesn't even rhyme. The lyrics and the tempo don't really match up, but now I get it. Like, it's from the original script. And also, this song is very operatic. And I think this entire musical is pretty operatic. It references to the opera style of music. So this is Lizzie literally just absolutely devastated by her situation. And the song ends Act 1 of the musical. She's literally begging God to let it rain, to not let her live and die alone, that kind of thing. And then bam, Act 1's done. We're gonna leave the audience at that so they can go to the restroom and get some snacks after Lizzie was just begging her heart out. And now we're gonna move on to Act 2. Starting song is Everything Beautiful Happens at Night.
Everything beautiful happens at night.
We're starting off with the assembly song. And setting up for Act 2, we know that it's nighttime now. And there's love in the air. And golly, the song makes me want to go to sleep. And it's not even nighttime, it's morning. Again, it's a very slow tempo song, like the very beginning song of Act 1. So it's kind of the same idea, but now it's nighttime. So it's probably cooler than it is during the day. But it is a pretty song. And there's nothing more to say about that.
Now this song, he's got her a dream. She's always wanted a golden fleece. Great God Almighty, the giant he raves and swears. Great God Almighty, you better go say your prayers. Now this song,
So this is the part where I guess you could say Starbuck's trying to cheer up Lizzie by putting her into this imaginary world that she's this really gorgeous woman and this man is after her and doing all these things for her, going on an adventure for her and bringing her back this golden fleece, and like he's painting this beautiful picture, and the music really helps with creating this imaginary world that Starbuck is talking about. And it really works. I think out of all the songs, if there could just be one song in the original play or movie, if they had to put a song in, I think this song would work perfectly. A musical is about creating an imaginary world almost, because no one sings in real life. No one just breaks out into dance and song. How the frick do you spell Millicent? I got me a dream. I've always wanted this golden fleece, and I think I will die unless it is mine. I love that rhyme. And I just love how the music in the background is just so bouncy. And I love how it picks up to, great God Almighty, you take and you dry your eyes. It has this nice little scoop. Ugh, I'm not a composer, so I can't really explain how all those notes work, but it makes me feel great. And the ending, that's where I got the chills. Melisande, Melisande. It's very it's dreamy. It's kind of a sneaky sound to it. And the instruments really help with that department. Melisande. And you hear that. Just dragging out that note, like really feeling it. Like, ugh. I really like when... Is that a violin? I'm not sure what particular instrument that is, but I just love when an actor sings and then you hear a little extra na, 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 to kind of echo off of what the singer was singing. Like, oh, I don't know, that kind of style, that kind of stuff gives me chills. I wish I knew how to explain it better, but I really like this song. It's very much an adventure song. Like literally in between lyrics, it sounds like he's riding a horse or something. You know, it's just a fun adventure song, an imaginary world, and I love it.
Someone to love me as we grow. Lizzie.
He's like, nah, your name is this, man. You're not Lizzie. Really, really pretty song. It is very simple. It is a very simple song, but I really like it. Simple little things, all I want are simple little things. All I need is someone beside me to have and to hold, someone to love me as we grow older. I think that's really pretty. It seems like nowadays people want all the big things. The fame, the money, the popularity, materials of any kind. Like it's a lot. It's a lot today. And maybe it was back then, but in different ways, I don't know. But it's really refreshing to hear a character talking about just wanting the simple things in life. It doesn't have to be this big grand adventure. It doesn't have to be where she's wearing this big, beautiful, flowing dress, flowing clothes, golden clothes. It doesn't have to be that she has to be the most popular person in town. None of that. She doesn't want a lot. She just wants somebody who loves her and she loves them and to have a life together. And I'm sure that's very hard. I know marriage is not an easy thing. but that kind of idea of just having a simple love like that where all that matters is that you're together. It's beautiful. Swenson sings this song so beautifully. This song really fits her voice type. It's beautiful. And of course, at the end, Starbuck has to sing Melisande, trying to almost like lure her in back into his dream world, where she's like, no, it's like, this is my dream world. This is the reality I want.
We get in the car.
We get in the car.
I step on the gas.
He steps on the gas.
I open, I reach across and grab her little red hat.
My little red hat.
She's starting to yell. Gotta be big and strong. You gotta be master. She's starting to cry. And what do you know? I said, whoa, and that's how I got me a little red hat.
So Jimmy has a whole monologue about his interaction with Snooki at the end of the show. And it's fun to hear his interpretation of the whole interaction and how he and Snooki got engaged. But I like it that Snooki actually gets she gets a voice in this story, and they get to talk about their experience together. And it's a fun little romance song. They're kind of like the secondary romantic couple in this musical. Although I don't think there's a main romantic couple in this musical, really. I mean, honestly, now that I really think about it, File and Lizzie don't really have a ton of interaction in any of the versions of this story. And in this musical, they have one song together. One duet song. Whereas I think Lizzie has like 3 duet songs with Starbuck. And it's very strange because they don't get together at the end. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I would call 110 the Shade a romantic musical.
Is it really me, hoping that this could be?
Now here you are, safe in my arms.
So I think this is another duet song between Lizzie and Starbuck. Yeah, this is another duet between them. This song kind of reminds me of Cinderella and the song Do You Love Me Because You're Beautiful, where it's a romantic duet between 2 characters and talking about how am I pretty, am I beautiful because of this other person, because of how this other person looks at me, how this other person feels about me. Am I beautiful because of that? And that might not sound very good because you shouldn't feel a certain way about yourself just because somebody else feels that way about you. But when you're in a healthy romantic relationship, I would think that it makes you feel more beautiful, makes you feel more pretty, makes you feel more loved because somebody views you that way and you view them in that way as well.
Come with me, Lizzie. Stay with me, Lizzie. A rolling wagon is music. The sun in the morning is music. And traveling music, family music.
Traveling music, family music.
Lightning, lightning.
There's sweet rain a-coming. There's sweet rain in the rain.
It's gonna rain all through the morning. It's gonna rain all through the night.
And that is the ending song of 110 the Shade, the 1963 version. I really love songs that have overlapping vocals. I think it's just really, really fun. However, again, it's a sound mixing. It's just really weird how it's done. I hear Starbuck in one ear, and then I hear File in another ear, and then I hear Lizzie in my forehead. I hear Lizzie down the middle. In a way, it's a cool concept because you kind of feel like Lizzie in this situation because you hear Starbuck on one end and then File on one end. They're like, no, I want you, I want you, I want you. And, you know, you're kind of in the middle like, what should I do? Like, who should I go for? I think it's pretty obvious who you should go for, but that's just me. So it's a cool concept, but then you have Lizzie weirdly in the middle and it doesn't sound good either. So the mixing is just super, super weird. And then you have the chorus coming in at the end, kind of filling out the rest, but they feel more in the background than anything else, so the mixing's weird. But it's a fun song, and Lizzie decides to choose File, of course, obviously. I don't know why you would go with the con man. And after she makes her decision, then suddenly it starts raining, and the whole town is obviously ecstatic about this. And then it's just chaos at the end of the song. There's so many instruments going on in different tempos and different rhythms happening all at once. It's kind of colliding together, and it's just a lot at the end. So now let's move on to the 2007 version.